Welcome back. This session is part of the CI/CD in Snowflake series, which I'm running in a couple of days. And we have seen two episodes out of that. One was like we introduced the CI/CD in Snowflake, and then we configured Snowflake for Git integration. And second was like we set up a dev UAT and prod environment. And today we are going to dedicate the day for create key pairs and the key pairs using RSA key pair authentication, and which is very useful for services. And also these days, as we know, Snowflake does not support password. And if you have a password, probably might have an issue using Snowflake in some areas. So because of that, one solution is key pair, even though it is straightforward and it's one off when you create a user or a service in this case. And I felt that we need like a way of creating them and how to create them, how to use them as well. So I'm dedicating this one for that specific use. So what we will do today is like we'll look at RSA key pair authentication for CI/CD, and this is a step-by-step demo walkthrough, and we will generate keys, configure Snowflake, add GitHub secrets, and run a live dev UAT prod deployment. That is the purpose, of course, but today we are going to focus on how to create this RSA key and how to use them in Snowflake. So that is our aim for or objective for today. Now, for this one, I mean, the key pair, if you have a flow, it will be very useful. So how we are going to use this key pair? Of course, we are going to start with our local machine. So the key pairs are going to be created in our local laptops. Yeah, and we are going to generate RSA key pair, and we will use a command called OpenSSL and generate RSA, which is gen RSA. Yeah, so this is a command we're going to use for the generation of the keys. And then we are going to create three pairs, one for dev, one for UAT, and one for prod. Now, what we'll do next is like once we create those keys, we will, for example, the private key, yeah, will be stored as a Snowflake private key in GitHub. Yeah, and that one is going to be per environment. So that we will have like in GitHub dev UAT prod environments, and then for each one we are going to store the private key, yeah, under the name in the secrets, that is under his name Snowflake underscore private key. So we'll copy it from there from our local machine and put it or paste it into the GitHub environment, one per environment, and the other one is going to be in Snowflake. So in Snowflake user, so we are going to use the public key here. So the private in GitHub, the public in Snowflake user. So in Snowflake, what we have already created users, and then we are going to say alt user, and then set RSA public key, and then we are going to copy the public key from our local machine into Snowflake. So that's the flow. So what we are doing in the process is what we are introducing here is like in our CI/CD is a security or guardrails, and for to remove issues, security issues, or to reduce or minimize the surface attack, as it were. So now we are not using password, and therefore we just anything which comes through the password attack, we are avoiding it. And this is because the this RSA key pair, they will generate like JWT tokens, which are temporary, and we don't see we see nothing in the leak in logs, for example. Yeah, so that's one advantage of using this one. And the second one, as you saw before, we have three environments for the same thing. So we have dev environment and the UAT environment, and then the production or the prod environment. So what we are creating three key pairs for each of them. So we are separating the keys per environment as well. So this is also a very useful exercise, and also it is easy rotation, because what you can do is that you can update the RSA public key on user, and no GitHub secret change is needed. So this is, again, this is easy rotation. And then you have this audit ready, for example. So everything will be logged into the access history, and therefore you can see what is happening there as well. So these are the advantages which we are going to get by following this route of key pair. Now, as I said before, we are going to generate the RSA key pairs in our laptop. So it is better to follow certain processes there. So what we do is, like, we create a folder to hold our keys there. So we are going to see how we create that one. And then once we create that folder using this bash, or git bash, we call it, we open that one, or CMD if you prefer that one, but I'm going to use today this git bash, and I'm going to show you how to use it as well, because it's very useful and it is easy to use. So in there we will just write this OpenSSL generate gen RSA command, and then we give it like and then the output of that one is going to go to this file .pem file. You can name it one for dev, for example. Here, this is one, and then we are going to use 2048-bit for our encryption. So it's very strong encryption, as you can see. And then for the public one, we are going to use again another command, open SSR, and this one is RSA. And we are going to, as an input, we are going to take the private key, and then the pub output is going to be written into a file which we prefer, which is going to be .pub public. Yeah, so that's, and then you can see what is happening there, of course, ls yeah, to see the files within the folder, the one we have created. Yeah, now, so this is we'll do the same for UAT. This is the one I showed you just for dev. You can do the same for UAT and the same for prod. Now, the rules we need to be aware of here is, if you want to take the folder, the one we created for the secret, to if you are going to you want to use it in your project, yeah, add it to your project, for example. So you need to add it as well in the git ignore, because we don't want these secrets to appear in GitHub. So if you put it ignore, it will not be moved to GitHub. Yeah, so that's the key part. Now, don't use unencrypted keys as well for CI/CD automation. This is again another important one. So once you finish, delete the PEM files after uploading it to GitHub secretly. So delete it from your local machine. So that's we need to follow. Now, once you have your keys, you need to attach the public keys to Snowflake. So the way you do it is like, for example, first we need to we created them now. They are in the folder. So we have a couple of options to copy those keys. The best one would be to use cat and then the file name for the pub, for example, the one we gave it there. And then once we see the key generated, copy that one and then go to Snowflake, and then you have, of course, you have created, for example, CI/CD underscore dev user for the dev environment. So you say alter user CI/CD underscore dev set RSA public key, and there is a quote, paste it there, close the quote. So you need to provide of course, we need to be careful here. We do the same for UAT for prod as well, the same thing, alter user, and then CI/CD the dev the username, and set the RSA public key, and then paste the UAT, and then paste the for the prod as well. So once you finish creating them, also you can describe the CI/CD dev, and to see describe user CI/CD dev, for example, it will show you whether this RSA public key had been included or not. So we will see that one as well in Snowflake. Now, when you start pasting them, because we are doing this copy and paste, you need to be careful. You need to keep the begin and end lines. Snowflake requires the full PEM wrapper, yeah, all of it, from dash 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 begin public key dash dash dash, and then all the key, and then end public key dash dash, all of them, they need to be copied and pasted. Yeah, so Snowflake requires all of it. That's again one important area which you need to consider when you do the copy and pasting. The second one is you need to preserve the line breaks. Yeah, so the line breaks, when you generate the keys. That's why I'm going to use this cat one, because it will give you the line, preserve the line break, and then you can copy and paste it in Snowflake. That is easy doing that way. So you need to, again, the criteria is now here, you need to preserve the line breaks. And also, if you want like everything, you can put it all in one line as well. So if prefer that one as well, it is acceptable to put it in one line. So either you need to, the recommended one is to preserve the line breaks, and then you need to put it per user, yeah, because this is key here now. You shouldn't confuse. If for dev, you need to put the public key for dev, and then in the GitHub, the private key for dev, and then you come back, do the for UAT the same thing. So you need to be careful at that one as well, not to mix things, because if you mix it, it's not going to work. Now, again, as I said before, to verify success, you can use describe user and the user, in this case CI/CD dev. Yeah. Now, this is the private key. You put it in GitHub. We are going to look at it that when you come to GitHub. I'm not going to spend time here, but this is the private key. You will go to GitHub, and each environment will have its own private key. For dev environment, you will put the the Snowflake private key here, and for UAT, you put the private key, the UAT private key here, and then for the prod, you also put the private key here. So that is in GitHub. We'll see in GitHub in much details, and then again in GitHub you have the GitHub action. So in GitHub action also, what is happening is like this is the automation process, the YAML file. So the YAML file will have like a couple of structures. So you, for the branch, you can see it is going to move. The automation is going to move. Once you work in dev, happy with that, then you send it to UAT. Happy with that, then you send it to prod. So this way, you create your features in dev, all the features, and then you move them to UAT and the prod. Now, the way now the secrets, now you need to include them here. So as you can see here, for example, this is how you put your secrets. So in each part, you have, for example, this is the structure you use, the secret, the Snowflake private key. Yeah, this don't forget this curly bracket, the open two curly bracket, close two curly brackets. Yeah, the ginger two, as it were. Now, the again here you use the same thing, the secret Snowflake account, and the same thing here, for example, the user, yeah, and also the role. So those secrets will be included in the in your YAML file. So when you move, it will be picked up and then it will be used in the CI/CD processing or automation in this case. Now, again, this we'll come back to this one as well. The whole idea is like to move from dev UAT to prod. So we'll look at how we are going to move. We'll have implementation at the end of this series of CI/CD in Snowflake series. So we will have implementation. Now, this is another key part there. Now we can how to troubleshoot when there is an error when you work. So I will come back to this one because this is the common one, the common error which you might find when you're working the CI/CD one. I picked up three of them, and we are going to look how to fix them as well. So and what is the root cause if you find one of them, for example. So in overall, I have just touched this one. I'm not going to go through that again. But the other one is like if you are going to create like NHS grade CI/CD. NHS grade. When I say NHS grade, meaning here is like the data is there is a lot of privacy PII data within this one, and it should be secure. Yeah, and also, I mean, people need to trust your system and so on. So this is a lot of issues within this NHS regulated industries or organizations. And if you are going to work to do create CI/CD within those environments, that is the point here. Yeah, a regulated environment, yeah, where there is a lot of laws regulating your work, then you need to follow certain guidelines. And this is the one I have shown you for the CI/CD touches most of the security guidelines when you work with NHS data. So, for example, the passwordless RSA authentication. This is one area where, yeah, you are not going to save any password, and then it's not going to be in any logs. Your password is not going to leak, and therefore you will be protecting the data that way. And then we were saying, for example, separate keys for each environment. This one will reduce the blast reduce containment side of it. So each environment has a unique RSA key pair. So if a dev key is compromised, the attacker can only reach NHS dev, yeah, and this way, and not the UAT or the prod. This is a key principle of defense in depth, yeah, and also we are using this. The prod requires human approval, so the GitHub environment requires reviewer setting, means no code reaches the NHS prod without a human sign off. So this satisfies change management requirement, the cap level governance without a heavyweight ITSM process, and also the least privileged role. The CI/CD prod can only execute migrations on NHS prod.iae. It cannot read other schemas, create databases, or export data. Combine RSA key authentication with minimal role grants satisfies the principle of least privileges required by NHS DSP. So this is like even though we are creating CI/CD, but we are creating in NHS grade. Yeah, so there's a lot of requirement, a lot of excitement, and then let us go to the steps which you require now for deployment. Again, I'm going to come back to this one. It's very important side. So we are going to generate the three RSA key pairs locally in your machine. This is step number one, and then the public keys we are going to attach it to the user, and the private key is going to be stored in GitHub. together with the other six Snowflake secrets, and then the workflow, for example, workflow writes key to the temp Snowflake, the one we saw before with the PEM, yeah, the with the this is like access. The key mode is like Linux Access 600, yeah, and then the prod GitHub environment has required reviewers enabled, and then we will see the live dev to UA2 to prod runs validated with select count queries, which we are going to look when we reach to the CI/CD. Now, let us show you how to do in your laptop, how to configure your laptop to use this one. So if you go to your, again, I'm going to show you how to create, first, the starting point will be to create a folder for your, yeah, to create a folder, yeah, for your, you need to create a folder for your secrets, yeah. So you go to your C drive or whatever drive you are working on. For example, I'm going to go to my C drive, and then I have created the Snowflake key, this one, the Snowflake keys. So I have created this folder. You can create, you can name it whatever you like, but you create this folder. The key here is, the reason why I created is like I want to put all the secrets here, and then I can access it from there. Yeah, I copy it and destroy it as well, or delete it when I need to. So if you right click on the folder here, and then if you are working, for example, in Windows, I'm not sure how to do it in Mac, but in Windows, you right click, and then if you say more options, what you see is like you'll have this open Git bash here. So you might have a different way of doing it, but this is I saw the easiest way. So if you click it here, what will happen is like without doing a lot of things, CD, copy or so, whatever it is, it will open for you on that folder. So you can write your codes here. Yeah. So that is one. So because I have done one, just I'm going to show you what I have done already. So in here, for example, this is um, the first one. This is the code I wrote, and let me expand it if I can. Yes, that's it. So what you do is like, for example, this is your first line here. Say for example, if you do we are talking here, yeah, this side. So in now we are in this folder, C drive, Snowflake keys. Yeah, we are on the bash, git bash here, as you can see. Yeah, this is the icon for git file. So what you say is open SSL gen RSA, and then dash out. The output would be of this one, will be written into this file. We put it .pem, private key, as it were, and then we are using 2048 bit, which is a very strong encryption. So we're encrypted in a very strong one using 2048 bit. It's going to be RSA, yeah. So when you run this one, it is going to write the code here, the key here. Yeah, this is one. And the second, this is the private key, and the public one will be if you go to the second one, is, as you can see here, um, this is the one, the pub on it. So what we are doing here is we are creating, again, we are using OpenSSL. This is the command. And then here is the RSA. And it is going to take the file, the private key here. As you can see, in is a private key. And you need to have this pub out. The output is going to be pub out, or public key, that is. Yeah, that is the output. And then we are going to write it into, which is out here, we write it into this file with the pub then so .pub. Yeah, so we are going to write this file. We call it dev now. So we have this to dev private key and dev public key. The key part here is like what we are using is we are using the private key to create the public key. Yeah? So these two complementary one. Yeah. So we are holding one in Snowflake Flex, in the Snowflake, the public key here, and then in and this one in GitHub. So once we create this one, we need to find or to the content of the file for the public. We are going to talk about it about the private when we come to GitHub, but let us focus now on the one for Snowflake, the public key. Yeah. So the content of the public key, you can get it using this cat Snowflake, and then it will give you all the content in this format. Yeah, and then you can copy this one, and go to Snowflake, which we are going to do next. Yeah, and you do the same thing for this is for UAT, for example, as you can see here. Yeah, so the UAT one. So you do the same for the UAT and also for the prod. Yeah. Now, when you work or when you want to work with you can copy. As I said before, we are going to copy because we are going to start with dev. We'll do the same. UAT. So you copy this one. Copy. Now you need to go to your Snowflake now, and in a Snowflake, what I've done is like I have created a folder here, Git configuration. So this is a setup which I showed you before, and this is now the databases which we created last time. Yeah, we created the warehouses, and I don't forget when we created the warehouse, we use this admin. When we're creating the roles, we use it like a security admin to create the roles. So you need to have those roles in order to create those ones. And then we have granted those roles privileges, and we created the user. Yeah. So we have added that user to those roles as well. So we have done that bit. Now, what you will do is like we are going to use this alt user, CICD dev, for example, and then set RSA underscore public key, and then this is don't forget the quote here. There is a quote here, and paste it within that quote. Yeah, it just if you paste that one here, which I have done, and then run it. So once you run this bit, you can check what is happening here. So you can go to describe. You can see here, describe the user, which is in this case is CICD dev user, we call it. So if you describe this one, you will see information about that user, the name. We don't give it a lot of things there. Just it was very simple one. So we give the name. There was no comment. The type is person. Login name is CICD, and there is no. It's not disabled. It is multi-change password is false, and so on. I mean, there's a lot of information, but the one we want to see is the area where it calls us RSA public key. This is the public key here. So of the user. So RSA public key for the user. So this is the one we have used. Yeah, and again, it had been fingerprinted within the Snowflake. And then that is the date as well. This is very important. The date stamp. It had been done like 1st of March 2026. So that is which means it had been successful. So the user is going to use RSA public key. So that's the proof that we have succeeded. Yeah, even though it says success, but you need to make sure that it is there as well. Now you do the same thing. I'm not going to do all of them together, but if you want, you can. As I said before, it is all similar. Yeah, it is similar for the what is called. It is similar for UAT and the prod, and then you do the cut. Yeah, and then paste it there. So that's what we have done here. We've done for again for the UAT the same thing. We copy it from there, alt user, and then paste as you see here all of it. And then once you finish, you go to describe whether to see describe the user and see whether it has been successful. So if you go again to the place where we're seeing that RSA public key is here, and then the last set the time is here as well. Yeah. Now the second the other side is again the production. The prod is also the CI/CD prod, and we also do the same thing here and see it has been there. Okay, you can see the public keys here and last date. Yeah, if you want to rotate this one, you can update this one again, and it will have a different date, the date of the rotation. Now you can have it like expire every month or every year or whatever the situation is. Yeah. So this is again this is the area of how to put it in Snowflake. We'll come back to this one, to the other side of the GitHub as well, how to do it in GitHub. Now let me show you as well how to check the one we created. We created users as well as roles here. Yeah. So if you go to the governance and security, and then you go to users and roles here. Yeah, you can also see the users and roles which had been created. So the users we created, they are, I can see, as you can see here, they are here as a dev and the prod and UAT. Yeah, and then if you click, for example, of course, what you can do here is like, again, the owner. Remember, we created the user security admin. Yeah, and if you see here, for example, if you can edit the user, well, I mean, if you want to rename it for some reason, reset the password, you don't have reset password now, disable user or drop it or grant a role or revoke a role. Yeah, so you can do a lot of things here as well. Now, if you go to if you click this one, it will tell you it will give you a couple of information, the login name, the display name, what is the default role for this user, whether MFA is enabled or not here, what is the default warehouse, yeah, and the status is enabled. When is the last login? It didn't log in yet. So this is like programmatic access as well, which we haven't done yet for programmatic access. Yeah, we'll come to this side as well. So, but I want to show you what happens when you click to the user, what information you get out of this one. Again, if you click here, it is the same thing as before. You can grant a role, you can disable a user, you can drop it. This is the key part here. If you want to drop it, you can come here and drop it, or edit, or you want to, for example, if you go to edit, you can just see if you found an email for that, you can add extra bit of email. But this is the key part which you put when you created the user. Yeah. So that's and then in terms of roles as well, we have done a couple of roles as well. We created the roles for each of the, for example, role for the dev. You can do the same thing here. You can grant and revoke. Yeah, and if you open the role, you can have information about it as well. Yeah, about this role, and it will be very handy to see what is included in this page. Now, let me finish this one by showing you on the again on the database we created and the schema so far. So if you go to database explorer, and you can see the NHS dev which we created, and it's NHS prod and NHS UAT, and then within that one, within the NHS dev, so far we have this any accident emergency schema, which still doesn't have anything. But again, this is the two information schema, and it's public, which has been created by default, which holds like metadata information about the database. So we have everything is ready in the Snowflake site. So we have created the database, the schema, and the users, the roles, and we have created also RSA public key attached to this one. Now let us finish this session, and then to start the GitHub side. Yeah, I hope you found this session useful, and if you find this session useful, please subscribe to this channel to get more information like this. Thank you very much.